You are not lazy. I don't care what your habits are. I don't care how long you sit on the couch each day. I don't care how long it takes you to get out of bed. You are not lazy. But there might be something inside of you that's trying to force you to be lazy. All right. Does that make any sense? Probably not. Let me explain. For the longest time, I thought I was very lazy, but that was the least of my problems. The number one problem was my constant drinking, alcoholism that led me through so much hell that I couldn't stop until I came up with this, what I call the IC solution, the instinctual core, which is where I look at that primitive reactive brain that exists inside all of us, that thing that was made for a world of 30,000 years ago, the Stone Ages, and that thing puts us in a place of survival mode all the time. It's always looking for threats all around us. And that's what it was doing to me. And the only way for me to escape that was through alcohol. But as soon as I started to consider that primitive reactive brain separate from myself, I labeled it, gave it a name, and it's the instinctual core, and saw it as separate from myself because it had a separate agenda than my agenda. I was able to separate from it. I never had another drink again. But then I found out I can change lots of different parts of my life. And one of the things I realized is that this instinctual core, this primitive reactive brain, I call it the IC because I want to keep it as separate. If I'm calling it a brain, it becomes my brain, it becomes part of me. When I call it the instinctual core, it's separate and I can see it inside of me and I can retrain it. Now that same thing that was making me drink, that the IC inside of me, was also wanting me to sit on the couch. Now why would it want to do that? Well, back in the world where we came from 30,000 years ago, and long before that, I'm just using 30,000 years as a kind of point, back in the Stone Ages before we had any of the modern comforts of today. But back then, when you were not specifically doing something for your survival, whether that was going to chase down some food or running away from possible predators, that primitive reactive brain, that instinctual core, wanted you to sit on your butt. When you had everything done, it wanted you to be lazy because it wanted you to conserve energy for the time when you needed it, when your life was actually at stake. Now, in today's world, our life is never actually at stake. So when we're sitting down, that thing wants us to stay there until there's a reason we absolutely need to get up. And usually there isn't, especially if you don't have a job or any responsibilities. But perhaps if you're always sitting on the couch, maybe a reason to get up would be to go get a job. Who knows? I'm not speaking for you, I'm speaking for me. Once I started to realize it was just that instinctual core that was trying to drive me to stay there, stay in a place of not getting anything done, not enjoying my life, not going out there and doing something, I was able to counter it and say, no, I don't want to sit here, you want to sit here. And I was able to counter it, get up, go do what I want. I wasn't lazy. The instinctual core was. Now I can move into action anytime I want. Now, found this helpful? Like it, subscribe, but mostly come to the Instinct Center where we can work on changing any of your habits through taking on this new perspective where this primitive reactive brain is separate from you. It has a relationship to like cognitive behavioral therapy where the main theme of that is that your thoughts and your emotions can be distorted. But putting a label on it, instead of having this subconscious brain that we're looking at, we can look at it as an instinctual core that has a separate agenda that's putting things in your subconscious. When you separate from that, you can learn to train it like a little puppy, and you can make any change possible that you thought that you've been having trouble trying to change for most of your life. So come visit us, subscribe, like. That's all I got. Adios. Thanks a lot. Bye.